I'm Tron. I'm a member of the ZecHub core team. I am primarily a full stack developer, meaning that I work on both front end and back end of applications. I am also primarily responsible for ZecBounties, which launched earlier this week. So today I'll be talking about how it feels to build on Zcash as a dev and how to open source contributions. So I would like to start with my journey into Zcash. So now from the start to tell you guys a quick story. So I first came across Zcash because a friend of mine was working on the project, and he needed someone to help execute his idea. So he reached out to me and I accepted to join the project. So while building with him, I discovered Zcash D, which is the old wallet for Zcash. So before Zebra D, we had Zcash D. You wanted to run your own full node, you have to use Zcash D back then. So since I was completely new to the ecosystem, I tried running it, but I kept running into errors. Every time I tried it, I always failed. So eventually I gave up because I simply did not know how to debug what was happening. So a few weeks later, I decided to give it another shot and I still couldn't get it working. So I started searching online and I eventually found ZecHub. So finding ZecHub directly led me to join the Zcash community on Discord. So when I first arrived at the Discord channel, first thing I did was to observe how things were done about the group. So first thing I noticed was that we provided a wiki link, which is ZecHub wiki. So I explored the documentation. That's where I discovered Zebra D, which is the new tool using to run your full node. I also realized the reason why my Zcash didn't work back then was because of I didn't know at the time that we're supposed to run the full node on our PC. So back then I was running into no space. I didn't have enough space to run about 200 gig of blockchain node. So that was the reason why it didn't work back then. So I didn't know that was even a primary requirement. So from there, I started attending the Friday SIG meetings. I'm not able to attend them every week, but at least I try to attend them bi-weekly. So these meetings helped me understand and appreciate the philosophy behind Zcash, which is that privacy is normal and that privacy is a fundamental right. So the more I learned, the more I believe that where I believe in that mission, I realized that what people are building in this ecosystem actually matters. So therefore, as I spent more time here, I also discovered new tools like Zaino, Zingo CLI, and like Wallet D, and other tools that make building with Zcash much easier. So now, building on Zcash, how do you actually build on Zcash? Well, it all starts with an idea. Yeah, you have to have an idea. So once you have an idea, like what do you want to build, how do you want to contribute, what is the thing that fascinates you, what passion do you have? That way we call idea. So when you have an idea, you ask yourself two questions. What is already possible with the tools that exist today? So we have tools like Zebra D, we have Zingo CLI, we have Zaino, we have Zali, we have WebZJS, we have a lot of tools. Then we ask, okay, based on the project, based on the idea that I have, what are the pieces that I'm missing in order to make my idea complete and push it into production? So those are the two questions you have to ask yourself. Now, when I came up with the idea for ZecBounties, I realized that we already had the tools that we needed. So all we really needed was a proper and well-timed execution. So ZecBounties is built as a replacement for the work. The goal is to reduce payment friction instead of managing tasks in one platform, then tracking contributions on another platform, then manually having to send bounty payments. So imagine every week, I think you pay bounties out every Sunday. So imagine every week I have like over 10 people applying for bounty. I have to be grabbing one address, sent, another address, sent. So are doing it sequentially and it wastes time. So with Zec Bounties, we can just get all of them at once and send everything once on that one transaction ID. So that's what Zec Bounties aims to achieve. So everything now happens in one place, making the entire workflow much smoother. So instead of going through three apps, you have everything on one app. So the lesson is simple. First, start with a problem, then see what Zcash tools already exist. Then if they don't, if the existing tech or the existing tools are not enough for your project, then you can now build that missing piece. Open source contribution. Building applications isn't the only way to contribute. There are many ways to contribute to Zcash ecosystem. You can contribute through Zec Bounties. That's what we're talking about now. Zec Bounties. Every week, ZecHub posts a bounty every Monday, I believe. So you are provided with the opportunity to go and apply for bounties and showcase your skill potential if you are selected. So that's one way you can apply. You can, contribute to the ecosystem. The second way is through ZecHub DAO proposals. So if bounties, let's say bounties, you cannot be waiting for bounties every Monday. You can just send a proposal through the DAO. I send a proposal through the DAO, and if it's a good idea, your proposal can get approved. Then the third one is ZCG, which is Zcash Community Grants. Or the final step, you can just build something valuable and open source it. So you can just build your own personal project and just open source it. So it can help to grow the ecosystem. So one thing I really appreciate about ZecHub and Zcash communities is that they are very supportive of new ideas. So if your ideas have potential value, people are generally willing to help, provide feedback, and sometimes even fund its development. And you don't even need to be a developer to contribute to the ecosystem. You can also be a graphic designer. You can create educational content. You can create videos. You can create documentations. You can do research. You can do community support. You can also do translations because we have a lot of communities in the ecosystem. Zcash Brazil, Zcash South Africa, Zcash Nigeria. So enough for us to communicate by meeting like translations. So that's one of the ways you can actually contribute to the ecosystem. So the closing, most of you might feel, oh, okay, enough for you to be able to contribute to ZecHub, that you need to be a developer first. You need to know how to write TypeScript. You need to know how to learn Rust. But I can tell you that you don't worry about any of that. Just focus on what you want to contribute to the ecosystem on your own. Learn the tools, engage with the community, find a problem, find a problem worth solving, and start building. The Zcash ecosystem is still growing, which means that there's plenty of opportunity for anyone who wants to contribute. So thank you guys for your time. I'll be open for questions if you have any.
Any question, guys?
Any question, guys?
Can also drop them in the chat if you know you don't want to don't want us to hear your beautiful voice.
Looking back, what changed between how bounties worked before versus now? Um, okay. Are you asking in like respect to the apps like Zenc Bounties or like the actual process and Gilmore? Okay, yeah. So back then, what we usually do is that whenever um a new potential contributor comes into the Zcash Discord server, what we do is we send them a contribution form on the wiki. So they have to input their student address there. So in the coming weeks, when the person applies for bounties and he gets the bounty and was able to complete the task. So for someone like Skrill to have to like pay out those bounties, they has to like go to that form and like grab them one by one, one by one, one by one, in order to like kind of pay out. So what ZecBounties wants to do is like wants everything to be as quick as possible. So you don't need to jump between apps, from the work to maybe the form, there are another place. So you can just do everything on the app. In your POV, what kind of products do you think a developer can contribute to? Well, like I said, you have to have an idea, and the idea you can have is based on like your interaction with ecosystem. So what do you feel that we're lacking or the community doesn't have yet in the ecosystem? So you can choose to like provide a solution, find a problem and offer a solution. So that's one of the best ways to go about it as a developer. So right now, I think we're looking for how to be able to do signing using Zcash. I don't think there's any signing or authentication yet for Zcash, like native to Zcash, the way you have it in Z other chains, maybe like ETH. So that's one of the key areas we're looking into. So just go through the ecosystem and find out what's missing and try and fill in the gap. Any more questions? Yeah, people are looking into it. Yeah, that's true. So you can also like hop into it if that's your area of expertise. The question is, what patterns do you notice people stay involved with the cash long term as people collect a bounty? Mm. Well, people who disappear, uh, that's a hard question. People who disappear, some of them don't actually disappear. Maybe they just, life got hard or something. So it's kind of normal, because people are kind of busy with other things. So I would say they disappeared. But long term, I think is more of like availability and like you know your passion towards you know moving Zcash to the next level. So if they're available and you have the the passion, the desire, then no problem. But most people that disappear, they do it because of maybe they have like issues or something. What do you think about the intersection between AI agents, apps, and privacies? Hmm. Well, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Maybe you can send me a DM. We'll talk more about that. Any more question?
Yeah, any more questions? Is anybody building currently for the hackathon? I would like to ask Tron a question related to
Yes.
whatever you're building. Yeah, please, if you have any question towards that also. Okay, Evans. Yeah, so do you have any question that you want us to talk about and see how we can help you?
All right. Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud.
All right. So, my first question, I'll just ask two questions. My first question is, hope is this happening weekly so that I can set my time for it. Then, secondly, um, I built Zec Ledger for the ZecHub hackathon. That's on the accounting payment track. So one thing that really made me ask lots of questions is just related to what somebody asked now concerning AI agents and privacy. Because in that Zec Ledger now, the CLI part has a Copilot, right? And definitely Copilot, you make use of the API key and all. So obviously before answers come out for the API, the Copilot part, it picks the it picks information that you drop. Although there's always verification. The Copilot will have to ask you, should you go ahead with sending these updates with the API side so it can get feedback. So my question is there a way to counter this thing? Like having a co-pilot or having an agent that can't still affect privacy on Zcash? I just think it's related to the last question somebody asked here.
Yeah. So what I'll say is that some people might not like some might not be comfortable with Copilot having access to their data, be it even with the smallest, form of metadata. They don't want people to have that access. So my advice is that you can continue building, right? But you have to like make it really clear to the users what you're actually letting Copilot access. All right. And it would be even better if you can like build one that has no leakages at all. Because some even the Zec Bounties that I built, right? So people still have like some questions concerning the GitHub, whether I am having their data or something like that, but I don't have the data. It's GitHub that has the data. So I believe everybody here, be it a developer or a graphic designer, whatever you're doing, everybody has a GitHub account. So the data you already gave GitHub, that's what I'm just trying to reroute. I'm not getting any information out of that. So you understand me? So if you can be able to do that, like let people know and offer a total privacy solution, then it's fine. It's a good idea.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But I think most times building on Zcash, people don't really talk about like the business aspects. And like for example, Zec Ledger now, I just built so that it can be a tool they can use. But at the long run, can this earn me Zec? Like, can this product actually earn me Zec? I'm just thinking about it now. So I don't know. Does anybody have like an idea? Does it make sense building on Zcash and thinking about the business part too?
That's the question you have to ask the DM later. So you can reach me in my DM. Do more.
Okay, I think I will chip in on that if you don't mind, Tron.
Okay.
Yeah, as much as you want to make profit or something, I think there's one thing that Zcash stand out for, and that's the fact that it's actually an open source ecosystem, meaning that it's not a profit organization in some sense. The idea behind Zcash is to be a non-profit organization where ideas are shaped, and that's one concept of the cypherpunk, where freedom, you're free to do however you want and at zero profit, basically. That's why if you observe majority of the organization in Zcash, you begin to hear something like it's not a profit organization, this is a non-profit organization, this is a non-profit. Like I think recently, I think it's just only Zodo that came out from ECC that is the only profit organization in the entire Zcash ecosystem as it's way now. Like, that's the only profit organization in Zcash. Basically, all of the other organizations in Zcash are non-profit, meaning that they don't, in the sense, build products for businesses. But that does not rule out the fact that if you are building something and you are trying to create a business model around it, does not mean you can't build it on Zcash. Based on what I have understood so far about the ecosystem, um, it does not rule it out. In the sense, it's just a caveat that, oh, don't forget, this project you are building, you are not, you necessarily might not be building it for the profit, but for the growth of the ecosystem, for the values of the ecosystem, helping to propagate the values of the ecosystem more. That's why you are building this product. So, as much as you look at the profit side or look at the business side, let's not still forget the values as to why this ecosystem exists in the first place. So, but nobody is saying you shouldn't build for the idea of profit or idea of business. But the standing value of the Zcash ecosystem was that we are setting up this organization to be a non-profit open source ecosystem. So yeah, that's basically what I understand. But I don't know if Tron have other perspectives, so you can still reach out to him in the DM to get more clarity on that particular topic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I've seen a question from Gilmore. So if someone wanted to contribute to beyond shipping code, like you mentioned earlier, what do you think the ecosystem has biggest gaps today? Well, one of the biggest gaps we have, like outside shipping of code, is like creating awareness, right? So most people, when they come into the ecosystem, they don't really know what's going on. I'd have to take a lot of time to get up to speed. That's one of the reasons why we created the visualizers. All right. So within the week, we had a call with someone who offered to like try and explain it to a layman, especially the heavy mathematics, right? So if someone can, come up with like such a documentation, such a way to like ease people into the Zcash onboarding, that's an example of contributing without having to like ship code. So you can think in that line of that sort of thoughts, then come up with some. Then the second question, I feel like about the GitHub is very true. You mean question one of or skin assessment stuff like like yeah. Yeah. ZecBounties and GitHub. ZecBounties only uses GitHub for authentication. All right. So if if there are any doubts you should have, it should be between you and GitHub. All right. So for the fact that you've trusted GitHub, then you've indirectly trusted ZecBounties. That's how it is. So ZecBounties, that GitHub part is only for authentication. All right. So if you misplace your GitHub, someone has access to your GitHub, then that's like on you and GitHub part. So it doesn't concern ZecBounties. So any more questions?
Any more questions, guys? Let's ask these questions. Sometimes, and that's one of the beauty of this workshop. It gives you access to be able to ask these questions directly to our guests, because sometimes you might just drop your message and there's a whole lot of generic, everybody's answering like that, do this, but then in a workshop like this, you are able to ask your question, posed directly at whoever we are bringing as a guest, directly to get their own perspective as to whatever you are building. So well, I guess we don't really have much question again. I believe it's safe to say that we don't have any more question again. Yeah, thank you so much, Tron. Really appreciate your presence. Wow, it's actually been very interesting. And I oh, okay. I think Gilmore already has another question. Do you think better UX or better infrastructure is the bigger bottleneck for adoption right now? Well, Tron, do you want to answer that, please?
Yeah, I'll go with a better UX. Infrastructure. Do you mean like a code base? Because I'm thinking from the dev perspective here. Better infrastructure, yeah, we can always grow. There's always room to build. There's always room to adopt new technology. So yeah, that's always on the upside. But better UX, yeah, I feel UX is the major bottleneck at the moment, especially for total laymen, like the base knowledge. That was is like really important right now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So any other question, please? Any other question? Okay, I guess we can move on then. Thank you so much, Sean. I mean, thank you for sparing us this few time out of your weekend, which you are supposed to be resting. I really appreciate it, and it's not taken for granted.
Yeah.
Look for Yeah, it's a whole lot. Thank you to everyone who has been joining us for this call. And to answer Evan's question about whether this workshop happens every week, well, it's a series, and sorry to say that the last session for the series will be happening on Tuesday, and we are going to be having sorry, I'm really sorry about that, Evans, but there are recordings, like recordings of all of the session, from the onboarding call to the first session. We've had lots of guests. We've had Shielded Mark. We've had Dismad. We've had Lowo. Wow, we've had very amazing speakers. To be very honest, we've had who else have we had? We had Craft Soldier guys building Zcash names, like, and now we are having Tron. Like, this experience has really been eye opening for me, to be very honest, because I'll be telling you now that I actually built a Telegram bot for tipping. And yeah, by next week, I'll be doing a test. It's currently on mainnet. Yeah, we're already on mainnet. And I will be calling out for people that will be helping us test the product to check out for bugs and every other thing. It's been a whole lot. And I won't lie to you, this has been very, very fun. I still tell people, asking, why am I not submitting? I feel like I just want to help train people, more developers, before I begin to build my own product. It's just a me thing. And that's just my own contribution to Zcash. It's just a contribution I'm giving to the Zcash ecosystem to help train more developers. And yeah, I'm glad we are actually doing that successfully. We've had guys from East Africa, we've had guys from Nigeria building products that have been part of this workshop at one point or the other, and have been able to ask questions to help shape their product. And it just brings a smile to my face to see that, oh, this person came to our call and was able to get answers to his or her question to build a wonderful product. I look forward to seeing the submissions, all of the submissions for the hackathon, because I know they are going to be very interesting, actually. And wow, we're going to be having someone very interesting for our last session. Mind you, this is not going to be the last session for the year. We know, like, I get to realize that we'll be having another hackathon towards the end of the year. I'm correct, right? Tron.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, so we'll be having another one around that period. Oh, and yeah, wow, Low actually decided to join us. That is really interesting. Uh, uh, um, it's just, and we'll be having Ken back, who is currently building Cypher Scan and Cypher Pay, the payment gateway on Zcash. And if you have been exploring Zcash, you probably would have seen these guys. Yes, yeah. So we're having them join us to actually come and give us their 1 cent. Oh, sorry, not to use 1 cent. Give us their 1 Zec of information on how they've been building Cypher Scan and Cypher Pay. And I believe that each and every one of us that was in attendance today would actually join us. And it promised to be a very interesting session also, because to be the last session for this particular workshop. And I can bet you there's going to be a whole lot of questions. There's going to be a whole lot of people turning up to talk. And I just know that I expect quite a number of people. I don't know if we are going to be having Tron that day also to come and join us, because it's going to be our last day. And yeah, I will try to invite every or our guest speaker to also join us again. So if you have questions, please don't miss that last session. Don't miss that last session. It is going to be packed. It is actually going to be very packed. Yeah. Thank you so much to everyone once again. Thank you, Tron. We really, really appreciate you. You can't imagine how much of a privilege this is to us. We really appreciate it. You took out your time. We understand how busy you are, and you took out your time to just come and join us in this workshop. It means a whole lot to us. We appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Thank you, Gilmore. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Evans. And Lowo, thank you. Yeah. I guess that is it. And we'll be wrapping up. Lowo, oh, yeah, you showed up late. Apologies. You wanna talk to us? You have any updates for us? Um, you can just up on the mic quickly and yeah. Okay then. Yeah, so I believe we can bring this to a close, and we expect to see you guys on Tuesday, which will be our 10th and last session for this particular workshop. Yes, the recording for this session will be available. Yeah, we are gradually posting the workshop on YouTube. I don't know, you can go to YouTube. We've been posting all of the guest sessions there. Vito has been doing a really great work with that, and I really must commend him. I really must thank the ZecHub team for appreciating what we are doing with this workshop and showing us their support. I really appreciate it. So yeah, you can check the YouTube. The link to this would also be sent to Vito, and it will be posted on YouTube as soon as possible. I think Lowo's session is already on YouTube. Mark's session is already on YouTube. This my session is on YouTube. I think it should be already working on the Zcash name session. Yeah, so you can always check YouTube immediately. The recording is out. It will be posted on Discord also. Yeah. I guess that should be all for now. Thank you so much, guys. We can have a wonderful weekend. Yeah. And yeah, in case you need a node, we actually running a node for the Zcash workshop. So you can request for the ask for access to use it. We would gladly give to you so long as you're part of this workshop. Yeah. Thank you guys. And yeah.